Hey everyone, and welcome back. You know we love a good deep dive, and today we're tackling something that I think is on a lot of our minds: how to keep our brains in tip-top shape as we age.
It's so important. And we actually came across a really interesting article about it with 6 surprising things you can do to reduce your risk of dementia.
Yeah, and I gotta say, some of these I never would have guessed. But what's really cool is that they're not like these crazy, impossible things. It's all about practical steps that you can actually work into your life.
Definitely. Small changes can make a big difference, which is really encouraging.
Absolutely. So, are you ready to unlock the secrets to a healthier brain?
Let's do it. I'm all ears.
Okay, so the article jumps right in with something that might sound kind of familiar, challenging your mind. But before you start picturing like endless Sudoku puzzles, it's a lot more interesting than that.
It really is. It's all about this idea of cognitive reserve. So basically, throughout your life, your brain builds up this amazing reserve of connections and pathways. And the more you challenge yourself, the stronger and more resilient those connections become.
So it's like building mental muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And there's even research that shows people with mentally stimulating jobs, like doctors or lawyers or teachers, or even those of us in the podcasting world.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, they tend to have a lower risk of dementia.
So all those late nights prepping for this are actually a good thing. That's amazing. But why is that? Is it about like specific skills or just keeping your brain engaged in general?
It's probably a bit of both. Some research suggests that when you're constantly learning and adapting in your job, it helps maintain something called neural plasticity, which is your brain's ability to kind of reorganize itself.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and it could also be the social interaction involved in those jobs, which we know is really good for brain health.
That's a good point. So it's not just about sitting in a room solving equations all day. You need that social stimulation too.
Exactly. Think about it. When you're having these like engaging conversations and navigating those complex social situations, your brain is firing on all cylinders.
Man, I am way more motivated about my job now. Okay, so challenging your mind, point taken. What's next on the brain boosting list?
This one surprised me at first. The connection between hearing loss and dementia risk.
Wait, really? I would have never put those two together. How are they even related?
It's actually pretty fascinating when you think about it. Untreated hearing loss can really lead to social isolation because if you're constantly struggling to follow conversations, you might start to avoid social situations altogether, and that lack of interaction can have a big impact on your brain health over time.
Oh, wow. So it's like this domino effect. Hearing loss leads to withdrawal, which then affects your brain.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not just the social aspect. When your brain is working overtime just to try to hear it, it's taking resources away from other cognitive functions, so that constant strain can take a toll over time.
Wow, that is wild. I knew hearing loss could be isolating, but I never realized how much of an impact it could have on your brain long term.
It's a powerful reminder to really prioritize our hearing health throughout our lives. And there's so much you can do, like protecting your ears from loud noises, getting regular hearing checks, and addressing any hearing loss sooner rather than later.
Protect your ears, challenge your mind. Okay, I'm writing all this down. What else does this article say we should be talking about?
Well, this next one really highlights the importance of taking care of your mental health as well, specifically addressing depression.
Okay, that makes sense. Depression can really take a toll on your energy and motivation, so it's hard to even feel like challenging your mind when you're struggling with your mood.
Right, and the link between depression and dementia is actually a two-way street.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, on one hand, research suggests that depression might actually be an early warning sign of developing dementia in some cases. But on the other hand, untreated depression can actually contribute to dementia progressing faster. It's this crazy cycle.
Wow, okay, so it's not just that depression might be a symptom, it could actually make things worse down the line.
Exactly.
Wow. See, this is why taking care of your mental health is so important, you guys. It's not just about like feeling happy, it's about protecting your brain in the long run.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Early intervention is key.
It's all connected, isn't it? Like that old saying, healthy body, healthy mind. But we're really seeing how true that is on this whole other level. Okay, I'm ready for the next piece of the brain health puzzle. What else should we be paying attention to?
Well, this next one might seem obvious, but the article really stresses just how important it is to protect your head from injury.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just wearing a helmet when you're riding your bike, right?
Right. A single bunk on the head is unlikely to cause dementia on its own, but it's the repetitive head impacts that we really need to be mindful of. like playing contact sports, especially anything that involves those frequent hits to the head.
Yeah, that makes sense. You hear a lot about athletes and the impact of concussions, but I never really thought about it in terms of dementia. It's scary to think those repeated impacts could have such a lasting effect.
It really is. And it's not just professional athletes either. Even those seemingly minor head injuries, especially if they're happening repeatedly, can increase your risk. So wearing helmets during activities like biking or skiing, skateboarding.
And I'm guessing those helmets should be, properly fitted and in good condition.
Absolutely. Got to protect that precious cargo.
Right. No more using that old bike helmet from when I was 10. Okay, so protect your head, challenge your mind, take care of your mental health. What else have we got?
The article also gets into a connection that might surprise you. The link between type 2 diabetes and dementia.
Diabetes. Interesting. I know it affects your circulation and your overall health, but I never realized it could directly impact your brain health as well.
It's kind of complicated, but essentially, high blood sugar, which is a big part of diabetes, can actually damage blood vessels all over your body, and that includes your brain.
So if your brain isn't getting the blood flow and nutrients that it needs, that can eventually lead to cognitive problems.
Exactly. And it's not just blood flow either. Diabetes also increases something called oxidative stress, which is basically an imbalance of, you could say, damaging molecules in the body. And those molecules can really cause problems for your brain cells over time.
Oxidative stress. Sounds intense.
It is, but the good news is managing your blood sugar levels can really help reduce those risks. Diet, exercise, medication if you need it, it all plays a role in protecting your body and your brain.
Okay, that's good to know. So it's not like an automatic sentence. It's something you can actively manage and take control of.
That's right. You have more power than you think when it comes to your brain health.
That is a great message. I'm feeling empowered already. Okay, are you ready to wrap up with that final strategy from the article?
Yes, let's do it. And this one is a good news story.
Oh, I love a good news story. Hit me.
You know how smoking is bad for you in, pretty much every way?
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
when it comes to dementia risk, quitting smoking can actually completely reverse the damage.
Wait, really? So you're saying if you're a smoker and you quit, you can get back to the same risk level as someone who never smoked at all?
That's exactly what the research suggests.
Incredible.
It's really amazing how resilient our brains are.
That is amazing. I mean, talk about a reason to quit, but how does that even work? Does your brain, magically repair itself?
Well, not magically,
Yeah.
but it's thanks to something called neuroplasticity, that amazing ability our brains have to change and reorganize themselves. Even if there's been some damage from smoking, quitting allows your brain to start healing and making new connections.
That is so encouraging. Okay, I think we've covered a lot here. 6 surprising strategies, each one with its own fascinating insights. But before we get too far into celebrating all this newfound brain power, let's take a minute to recap everything we've learned.
Okay, so we've got challenging our minds, protecting our hearing, taking care of our mental health, avoiding head injuries, managing diabetes, and kicking that smoking habit to the curb.
It's quite a list.
It is. But you know what's amazing? The article said that up to 45% of dementia cases could be prevented through lifestyle changes, like these 45%. That's huge.
It is really significant. It really shows how much power we have when it comes to our brain health.
Absolutely. It's empowering to know that these aren't just things we should do. They're things that can really make a difference.
And it's really interesting how interconnected it all is. When you think about it, taking care of your physical health, like managing diabetes or quitting smoking, has a direct impact on your brain. And the same goes for your mental health. Addressing depression, finding ways to manage stress, those are so important for a healthy brain too. It's like if you make one positive change, it kind of ripples outwards and benefits other areas of your life too.
Exactly. It's about taking a holistic approach and making those healthy habits part of your daily life.
And it's never too late to start, right?
Never too late.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired and want to take action, what's one small thing they can do today to start investing in their long-term brain health?
That's a great question. And I think I'm going to turn it back to you, our listeners.
Ooh, I like it.
We've covered so much today. Now it's about putting it into practice.
I love that. Because, knowledge without action, it's like never hitting play on this podcast.
That's a good way to put it.
So as you go about your day today, think about those 6 strategies we talked about. What's one small, manageable thing you can do to nourish your brain?
Maybe it's finally signing up for that language course you've been thinking about, or scheduling a hearing test, or even just putting down your phone and having a real conversation with someone you care about.
Those are great ideas.
Every little step counts. And remember, you're not just doing this for some future version of yourself. You're investing in a healthier, sharper, more vibrant you right now.
I love that. Such a great way to wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into brain health. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.